Hey everyone, quick heads up before we dive in. This Celestron StarSense Explorer 10-inch Dobsonian telescope has been popping up all over my feed lately, and after spending a few clear nights with it myself, I get why. It's not just another telescope that makes the sky look pretty, it actually guides you to what's worth looking at tonight, and that changes the game if you're like me and get overwhelmed by all the options. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First thing that surprised me was how little setup it needs. Most big scopes take forever to align and balance, but this one basically sits down, powers up, and within a couple of minutes you're already on your first target. The Dobsonian base is rock solid, so even when I'm nudging the scope to keep an object centered, it doesn't wobble like some cheaper mounts do. That alone makes it feel like a premium experience without the premium price tag. The real magic is in the StarSense app. You just clamp your phone onto the eyepiece holder, open the app, and it uses your phone's camera to figure out exactly where the scope is pointed. From there it shows you a live map of the sky and tells you tonight's best targets based on your location and the time. I tried it on Jupiter, Saturn, and the Orion Nebula, and each time the app locked on in seconds and kept the object centered while I zoomed in. No more hunting around and losing patience. If you're new to astronomy, that kind of guidance is a lifesaver. Speaking of views, the 10-inch mirror gathers a ton of light, so even from my light-polluted backyard I could see the bands on Jupiter and the Cassini division in Saturn's rings without squinting. The included 25mm eyepiece gives a nice wide field for scanning the Milky Way, and the included 10mm eyepiece tightens up the view for planets. I also swapped in a 6mm eyepiece I already owned, and the extra magnification still stayed sharp, which tells me the focuser has enough travel to handle higher power eyepieces down the road. Another thing that stood out was the Tonight's Best Targets feature. Instead of scrolling through a catalog and guessing what's actually visible tonight, the app ranks objects by brightness and altitude, so you always know what's going to give you the best show. I watched the Veil Nebula pop into view after the app suggested it, and the detail in the nebula's filaments was something I wouldn't have attempted without that nudge. It's like having an astronomy club member whispering in your ear, "Hey, look here, this is worth your time." Tracking is smooth enough for visual use, and while it's not a full go-to mount that'll chase objects automatically, the app's keep-centered guidance is accurate enough that I didn't have to constantly adjust the slow-motion controls. If you're imaging later on, you'll probably want an aftermarket motor kit, but for casual stargazing it's more than enough. I also appreciate the warranty and support. Celestron covers this scope for 2 years, and their customer service has been responsive whenever I've had questions. That peace of mind matters when you're spending this much on a telescope. On the downside, the app does need a clear night and a relatively dark sky to calibrate properly, so if you're in a city with heavy light pollution you might have to manually align it a few times before the app trusts itself. Also, the Dobsonian base is big and heavy. It's not something you'll be carrying up a mountain trail, but if you're rolling it out to the driveway it's manageable with the included handles. All in all, this telescope turns what can feel like a frustrating hobby into something that's actually fun right from the first night. It's great for beginners who don't want to memorize star charts, and it's still powerful enough that experienced observers won't feel like they're holding themselves back. If you've been on the fence about getting into astronomy because the learning curve felt too steep, this might be the push you need. Link is below if you want to take a closer look. Happy stargazing!